he's can make every throw, a little Aaron Rodgers esque. He's just different, man, and I'm looking forward to him going out there and competing and showing everybody what he's been working on. Because even within his first week, I mean, he's doing things that are you don't see from a young guy.
What's going on? It's Keyshawn, and welcome to my show, All Facts, No Breaks. Joining us today is an NFL legend who's entering his 19th NFL season. 19. You heard it. That's right. 19 seasons at the tight end position. Not wide receiver, not defensive back, but tight end. He's the Chicago Bears tight end, Marcedes Lewis. Marcedes Lewis. What up? What's up, man?
What's up, boss? What's going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. 19 years?
Man.
It's crazy, man. It's been a grind. Quick story. So I wore number 19 at Long Beach Poly in high school. And then obviously when I got to UCLA, I wore 19. And you were a catalyst for that.
Oh, so, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's an honor to be on the show, man. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate it, but damn the number. 19 years? You like, I don't understand. Why? I played 11 years and that was one too many. I only wanted to do 10 and I happened to just do 11 because my offensive coordinator was with the Carolina Panthers, who I had with the New York Jets. That's the only reason. But 19? That's a long time.
I think when I got drafted, I set out to potentially do 10 years. I understood that would probably be a great career at that time. And, obviously, once I got up to like 8 or 9, I was like, shit, my body still feels good. Obviously I hit 10. Then after 10, it was like, why stop now? I feel like, we only get so long to play the sport. And life, as you know, is in windows. And whenever you can keep those windows open for as long as you can, you might as well do it. And so I'm in that position now. I've been able to transform my game. Coming into the league, I was a receiving tight end and a willing blocker, and then I've been able to transform my game into being one of the best blockers at the point of contact, and I enjoy what I do. And fortunately, there's not a lot of tight ends coming out of college able to do what I can do. So it's allowed me time to prolong my career. So I'm just in gratitude and enjoying every minute.
Do you think you still have the love of the game year 19 as opposed to year 1?
Absolutely. Like this game, along with combat sports, you can't fake it. And if you don't love it, you're not going to do it. I'm pretty sure Keyshawn could attest to that. It's just one of those things that the grind is just different. I could sit here and talk to you about it all day, but if you truly don't love the game, you won't be in it for this long. So it's something that is always on my mind. I can't get it out of my mind. When I'm not in ball, I'm always thinking about it. And so I'm just fortunate enough to be able to still do my thing.
So you've been to 19 training camps, right? So obviously I held out. So 10, let's call it 10 training camps for me, because I held out my rookie season. In 19 training camps, when you go and you pull in that parking lot, Marcedes, right? And you look up, then that first day you take the field. Now, early in your career, obviously it was 2-a-days, right? And so now it's gotten lighter. Have you in your 19 years seen that dude that say, oh, I'm good, man. I go through all off-season conditioning. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing OTAs. I'm doing mini camps. They get to the summer, and then on Monday they practice, and then on Tuesday you're like, well, what happened to Jack? And it's like, oh man, he checked out. He retired. Have you seen that in your career?
So I haven't seen that as far as how you detailed it. But it always is that rude awakening. Obviously, training camp is gonna separate, the dudes from the guys. And I'm pretty sure every team has those guys on every level, from college all the way on up. And fortunately, I haven't been on teams where that's happened, where guys get to training camp and then just give it up. But it's definitely, guys get those rude awakenings, and then you have to really look in the mirror and confront that truth of if you're willing to go through the grind of an entire season. So, that's definitely the case at times, but I haven't witnessed it yet.
So at your tenure, it's 268 games played. That's tied for 28th. You're third among tight ends behind Jason Witten, 271, and Tony Gonzalez, 270.
We'll get that this year.
Yeah, of course. He's going to clip that all day long. Yeah. And throughout, knock on wood, right, throughout 30 years of playing football, through Pop Warner College, whatever, pros, you've never had any serious injury to remove you from that. What have you done in your career to be able to avoid that sort of thing happening to you?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a great point. It's one of those things, especially in my house, that I rarely question or talk about because I don't want to jinx it. But I've been fortunate enough to not experience anything that has kept me from playing this game. Obviously, I've had sprained ankles. I've strained my calf before, and I've strained my hamstring. I missed maybe a total of 14 games in 18 years, which is really crazy. But, as far as, staying healthy, it's just been a routine. I've had a routine for the last 15 years that consists of hyperbaric chambers, sauna, cold tub, acupuncture, dry needling. I get my rest. I drink a lot of water. Obviously, over the course of, years, as long as I've been playing, every now and then you're going to subtract and you're going to add different things to your routine based on how your body is feeling. And obviously, we're not getting any younger, so you kind of just listen to your body. And I've just been able to do a great job of that. In the off season, I make sure I get my training in, but I don't overdo it. I've been training mixed martial arts for 14 years, so I've leaned on that a lot in the off season to just make sure my body is as fine tuned as I'm going to need it to be come camp. And I don't do too much on the field and beating up my knees. And, I've just been really smart about picking my spots. And so once training camp runs around, I'm hungry for it and I'm ready to get after it. So it's been a formula that I tweak here and there, but I think the biggest thing is just having a process and having a routine, and I've been able to stick to it.
Right. So you played high school ball at Long Beach Poly. You were considered one of the top high school football players in the country in 2001. Who were some of the ball players you came up with, and you got any cool recruiting stories you got for us?
Yeah, recruiting stories. The mistake that you made going to that powder blue team. But anyway, give us the recruiting story.
So I went to Long Beach Poly High School, and my senior year, it was me, Herschel Dennis, Manuel Wright, Winston Justice, and Darnell Bing. All four of those guys went to USC. Obviously, I chose to go to UCLA. Pete Carroll, my first scholarship offer is from USC my sophomore year. But I wanted to go to UCLA since I was 9 years old. And I played football and basketball coming out of high school. And when I was, attending the camps, USC camp, Nike All-American camp, they both made it clear, Henry Bibby made it clear that I wasn't going to be able to play both sports if I came to USC. So that kind of checked that off. Okay, I'm not going to USC because I, obviously want to play both sports. Pete Carroll was the one who recruited me. Orgeron was at SC at the time. He recruited me. They were all in my house. My stepdad went to USC. So they were, trying to make it happen, but it was just a situation I was just indulging the UCLA energy, and that's just what it was. Yeah, it was just different. I guess
You said Pete Carroll, though. That's like the golden era of USC. That's where the real energy was at.
Yeah, so like I try to figure out how do I explain this. I grew up in the city of Long Beach, California, right? My mom had me, she's 15 years old. When you talk about, getting arrested, one of my best friends getting shot in front of me, just a bunch of stuff going on. I just wanted something different, and I wanted to be in a different area than where I grew up in. And so UCLA kind of fit that mold for me, and I just wanted a chance to go out there and really just be a leader and be myself. And the other four guys ended up going to USC, and I think in that moment it was just an opportunity for me to go and maximize my potential and do it on my own. And UCLA gave me that shot.
Oh, man, go on with all the UCLA gave me my shot. You're supposed to be a Trojan. You're supposed to be right there with all them dudes. You know damn well you supposed to be a Trojan. Kids from Long Beach Poly, they follow Mark Carrier. They follow Willie McGinnis. Look at, man, come on, man. I'm so disappointed in you right now.
And Willie McGinnis is my big bro. Like, it's something that we're going to talk about for years, just within the community of Long Beach and the family. But if I had to do it over, to be honest, I wouldn't change a thing. I'm very grateful for, where I am now and the lessons that I've learned on the way up. And yeah, man,
it's all good. It's all good, Marcedes. I just never heard nobody say that they dreamed about going to UCLA. I've just never heard anybody say that, but that's all right. We're gonna put that feather back in the cap. So you win the John Mackey Award as the nation's best tight end out of UCLA. When did you realize you was probably going to have an opportunity to make some money doing this for a living?
So my freshman year at UCLA, my tight end coach was a guy that, and here's another story. He wasn't used to coaching a guy like me coming out of Long Beach Poly, playing ball in the inner city. And I felt like he would pick on me like in meetings. And it was like, I just felt like he would always point me out in that tight end room amongst my peers. And it didn't feel good. Long story short, I ended up going to the head coach and was like, yo, I'm not sure if this guy has a problem with me, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, point blank. My sophomore year, long story short, they brought in John Embry. And John Embry came in with Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy coached the running backs. John Embry was my coach. And he kind of stripped me down from everything I thought I knew about the game of football and built me back up. And we set goals. He instilled the type of mindset that I would have to have as far as being able to compete at the next level. Going into camp my sophomore year, I just was dominant. And I think a light switch came on to where it was like, okay, coming out of Long Beach Poly, I was raw, obviously talented, would make plays, but just a mindset of being able to compete on every down and the cycle of the snap. After that snap, good or bad, whatever happened, you move on to the next play and you just be dominant and just stack it. And, I got into that mindset from my sophomore year. And I think after my junior year, it was like, okay, like I got an opportunity to change my family's lives, change my life, and potentially be, one of the best to ever do it. And, I never looked back from that point. It was just something that I can't really explain, but I was very fortunate to have John Embry come over and coach me my sophomore year.
So in 2022, you were inducted into the UCLA Athletics Hall of Fame. What was that moment like for you?
It was surreal. Obviously, coming from where I come from, it's you don't really see as far as past your street name, and you just want to be the best in your hood. And being able to go to UCLA and be there and be a recruit and watch guys, play ball, and all you do is just dream about being able to, play in the Rose Bowl and do your thing, and to be looked at as one of the best to ever do it, and now be enshrined in the UCLA Hall of Fame. I mean, what else could you want, man? Like, it's
right.
I said, Keyshawn, he's joking about it, but it's real. Like, it's something that I dreamed about as a kid, and I was, able to make that happen. So it's definitely a blessing. It's cool.
See, if you would have told me, Marcedes, I dreamed about playing basketball in Pauley Pavilion, I'll be like, yeah, that's cool. But you're talking about football. Ain't no way in the world you dream about going to UCLA to play football. That's all I'm saying. But I get it. No, I honestly get it. So talking about a guy who dreamed about something, DeShaun Foster, new head coach at UCLA, played running back at UCLA, played with me. One of my closest NFL friends played with me at the Carolina Panthers for a year. And I still, I'm very close to him. And believe it or not, I support the UCLA football program because of him. He had a very awkward moment about a week ago or so, this past week at the Big Ten press conference, and it kind of went viral. I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but I want you to take a look at it.
I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
In a second.
So what were your thoughts on that moment, Marcedes? Is that a leader for your program, or how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, what was going on as far as mentally in that moment. But I remember being a recruit and watching him play. And obviously I've never had the chance to play with him at the next level, but from what I've heard, he's a leader, he's a great guy. And growing up and watching him compete, he's one of the best that I've seen do it. And so, I can't really comment on what happened at the podium. Not sure, where the fall came from. But as far as I'm concerned, he's a great dude, and looking forward to, him going out there and helping those guys win games.
He absolutely is a great dude, Marcedes. I personally, that's one of my good friends. I personally blame the PR department at UCLA, the sports information directors. That's who I blame, because I know DeShaun and I know him well, and I think he's going to do a tremendous job because he can recruit. He got Eric Bieniemy on staff. He got my guy. He got Coach White coaching the quarterbacks that played with me. So I know UCLA going to be all right underneath his leadership. He's a football coach. He's not a politician at all. He doesn't need to walk up to the mic and do any of that. He's a football coach. He wants to coach football. He don't want to be at a Big Ten press conference having to answer questions about things that he really don't want to do. That's how I look at it, but I think he'll do a tremendous, man. I can't wait for them to start training camp, because I'm going to actually be visiting the training camp. I won't wear the UCLA colors. I won't be wearing the hat and all that craziness, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there supporting him 100%. 1,000%.
And I think that you hit it right on the head. At the end of the day, it's about winning games, right? And it's just like when you go, for instance, like when guys go to the combine and they don't test well, and then everybody gets their panties in a bunch. At the end of the day, can you play football, right?
Yes.
For DeShaun, it's got to, like, we need to win games. That's what it's going to come down to. Can he coach and get those guys going in the right direction so we can win games? Mm-hmm. Whether he had the greatest speech just now at the podium or not, at the end of the day, when the games start, can we win games? And I think we have an opportunity to do that. I know those guys are excited about having them there and leading those guys. So I'm looking forward to it.
Man, coaches, and you've been in the league, obviously, 19 years. You played college football. There have been coaches on both levels that get up to the podium and they can sell fucking ice to an Eskimo and they can't win a game. So right. That's just the reality of it. It's the reality of it.
So Marcedes, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say you were selected overall 28th to the Jaguars in 2006. Your UCLA teammate Maurice Jones-Drew was also drafted to the Jags on the same day. How excited were you guys to join in the pros?
That's my guy. So we go back. We played each other in a high school game. Long Beach Poly against De La Salle's, #1 versus #2 team in the country in that year.
Mm-hmm.
And funny story, Maurice wasn't even the starting running back. We ended up hurting their running back. Maurice comes in, gets 3 touchdowns. They end up beating us, I think, like 25-15 or 29-15, something like that. Okay. But then that's where Maurice started his whole campaign. Obviously, I've been a fan since that time. We get to UCLA, we do our thing together. We both get drafted to Jacksonville, and being able to, spend that rookie year with my guy and make that transition with my boy, I wouldn't have it no other way. I mean, obviously, we went through the hazing and all of that stuff, but we did it together, and it helped my rookie year fly by. So Maurice is very close to me. That's my bro. Will always be good, and yeah, man, it's funny that you mentioned him. That's my guy.
Who drafted you? Jack Del Rio?
Yeah, Jack.
Okay, him and Shaq Harris. Yeah, Shaq. Shaq drafted me to the Jets too, so I remember him. Yeah, Shaq, that's my guy. So your first touchdown, I'm sure you remember your first touchdown with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yep. I got the clip, but I don't know about the celebration. Check this clip out and then tell me a little bit about the celebration.
Drew in the backfield. On a 2nd and goal. Jacksonville looking to inch closer. Play action. Floater. Caught. Touchdown. Marcedes Lewis. His first NFL touchdown. The rookie at a UCLA. At Jacksonville. Cuts into the Buffalo lead.
Now, we talked about it in the first quarter, the ability to put touch on the pass from David Garrard. Now, this is a beautiful ball to Marcedes Lewis. London Fletcher had no shot. All he could hope for was a bad throw from Garrard.
Yeah, what was that, man? What type of – you learned that at UCLA?
Nah, that was learned at Poly. That was a little heel toe.
Little heel toe, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if I had more time, I probably would have sea-walked in the end zone, but I didn't. I was going back and forth in my mind whether I wanted to do the whole thing, but yeah, that was just a little shot at it, but a little heel toe action.
Yeah, when you came into the league, you had some really good vets on that team. One of them being Fred Taylor, who kind of took you under your wing or under his wing. What do you think you learned from him the most?
Consistency. Fred was one of those guys. First of all, he was a running back and took me under his wing as if I was a running back, and he didn't have to do that. One thing that Fred always did was show up every day authentically and consistently. And watching him go through his process of going to meetings, taking notes, no matter what year he was at that time. I want to say maybe like 8 or 9 years in the league, taking notes, go to practice, show up, practice his butt off, had a routine before practice. After practice, he's taking care of his body. Like just the whole process of how he handled his business. I really took a lot from that. And just all the little nuggets he would give me whenever he would give me a ride home from practice. And, we still obviously keep in touch now, but he's definitely a big brother of mine that I never knew I needed at that time. And there was one instance where, I don't know, Keyshawn, if you remember the Oklahoma drill, and we would do this at the beginning of the training camp, and it would be, I'm blocking Maurice or Fred Taylor's running the ball behind me, and then I'm blocking whoever that guy, whether it was like Paul Spicer or whoever the DN was at that time. And I had 2 reps in a row. I handled my business on both of those reps. Running back didn't get touched, Maurice or Fred. And I remember Fred putting his arm around me and saying, "Hey, Slim, you keep blocking like that, you're going to play a long time in this league." And, that's something that we laugh about now, but I'll never forget that.
See, Fred T cool. Fred T talked to the guys. Me?
Yeah.
I wasn't talking to nobody. I just didn't. Fred T cool, though. I just didn't. No, I talked to him off the field. I never really got into talking to people on the field. I just didn't. Other teammates, I talked to them. You know what I'm saying? Marcedes, we talk shop in the locker room or we go to dinner. But on the field, I never used to give tips. I don't know why. I just never I just wasn't the type of leader. I was a
Yeah,
different
I
type
mean,
of leader.
I feel that. I mean, I think even as I sit here today, I'm more lead by example.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah, like I'm not necessarily gonna like seek you out to like give you all of this information because at the end of the day, I don't even know it all. Regardless of whether I'm in my 6th year or my 19th year, I pride myself on just continuing to learn and learning from those that are younger than me, older than me, whether they're coaches, whatever it is. Like, and so for me on the field, I'm gonna lead by example. But once we get in the locker room, if you have a question or if you're hungry for the knowledge and I can see that you're hungry for the knowledge, I don't mind giving it to you.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, that's the kind of leader I am. And I feel like, I guess in that moment, and obviously it may be a conversation for Fred. Maybe Fred was the same way, but he saw something in me that like he wanted to put his arm around me and actually like be that guy for me. But either way, I'm super grateful for it and I learned a lot from him.
No, it's cool. It's real cool. So when you look back at your career, you were entering into your 13th season back in 2017, and then all of a sudden you figure, oh, okay, I'm coming back for my 13th year. And then all of a sudden you learned through ESPN, at least that's what's being reported, that you learned through ESPN that, as they say, the Jaguars were moving in a different direction. They didn't pick up the phone and call you and say, we're going to draft a guy, we signing a guy. They just basically sent the facts over to the league office and said, we releasing Marcedes Lewis, and then you had to learn it through ESPN from what I understand?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time that I had ever had to go through the business side of being in the NFL in a way that, based on my work that I had done in Jacksonville, in the community, I always held Jacksonville high regard. I never threw anybody under the bus. Whenever the media needed any takes, I always was super positive about the direction of the team and the beat of the locker room and so on and so forth. And on top of that, just my work in general, whether it was at practice or in games, I was always one of the ones that you can count on that was going to be doing this job when you turned on the film. And so I felt like I at least was owed either a conversation or some type of communication. And it was an eerie morning. I woke up to use the bathroom. I looked at my phone. I saw my agent tried to reach me about 10 to 12 times, just missed calls. And mind you, my agent, he's old school. Bus Cook, he does my contracts, right? Like Bus is not one of those agents that want to be in a club with you, just always hitting you up. He's just not that guy. So I know that when I see his name on my phone, that it's serious. So I look at my phone and right away I just turn on the TV. Like I felt weird. I flipped the TV on, went to NFL Network, didn't see nothing. Went to ESPN, across the ticker. Jacksonville Jaguars release veteran tight end Marcedes Lewis after 12 years, so on and so forth. I turned the TV off. In that moment, I was just in shock. I would say I sat on the couch for like a good hour, did not move, did not answer my phone, didn't answer a text message back. I ended up hitting my mom up. My mom, I'm telling my mom, like, man, like, really just in my feelings, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, how could they do this? Like, I ain't never done nothing wrong. Like, I bust my butt. Like, regardless if, whether we're winning games or not winning games, I'm always the same person. I pride myself on being the same person every single day, regardless of the circumstances. Like, I don't like roller coaster, right? And I don't like roller coaster type people. Like, if you're gonna be an asshole, be an asshole every day. If you're a good dude, be a good dude every day. Like, don't give me the mixes and all of that. Like, I pride myself on that, and so I know who I am inside, and so it really got to me, right? And then my mom was like, well, and I'm telling her, I'm like, man, I think I'm just going to retire. Like, the family's good. Like, I played a long career. Like, it's all good. My mom was like, no, don't talk like that. If you feel like, she was like, do you feel like you can still help a team win games? And I said, yeah. She said, then why would you do this? It's your childhood dream. Like, don't do that. Maybe it's just time to do something else or go to another team. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. I was like, it feels, you know how it is. Like, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go to another team and start over and do all that. And then like you get like this weird, like nervous, like I was in between like nervous and excited, like right in between there. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't know. I'll think about it. Literally a month later, Aaron Rodgers calls me. He gets to talking to me. I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. Then my agent hits me up about Green Bay. And literally, I would say between 3 or 4 days, Green Bay called, maybe like 3 days in a row. Aaron Rodgers called one more time. Next thing you know, I'm on my flight to Green Bay, 6 a.m. in the morning. At that time, they had just acquired Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was there, one of my good friends. After that, man, I ended up going to Green Bay and playing 5 years there. And it was like a resurgence for me. And it was almost, I felt like Green Bay had drafted me. Like I felt more love playing there and winning games and just the energy and the people. Like I felt like I was a rookie all over again, and really re-energized me and brought my love back for the game. And here I am now, man. I'm just excited and living and part of my purpose right now.
Yeah, I see the Green Bay art in the back right there. You're still repping it. But you were, like you said, you were there for 5 seasons. What was it like playing with Aaron Rodgers, and do you still have a relationship with him now?
Yeah, that's my guy. He put it like this. Obviously, like being in Jacksonville, like when I first got there, it was like Dave Garrard was really my quarterback for maybe what 5 or 6 year span. And other than that, we were just drafting guys because our record wasn't good, so we'd always get like, you know, top 5 draft picks at quarterback and couldn't get any chemistry going and stuff like that. So to be in Green Bay, it was the first time that I'd ever played with a quarterback that was a franchise guy that understood the game from a different vantage point that I understood the game from, and being able to be in a huddle with a guy like that, knowing that, you know, every time we step on the field, we got a chance to score points and actually win the game. And just being in a huddle with him and witnessing how he views the game and how he manipulates defenses. And I'll never forget that. It was almost like a movie every time we were out there. Like it was special. And, you know, we built our relationship just based on how we compete, how we lead. And, you know, I feel like I'm one of the very few that understands him. And yeah, man, we, you know, I got to see him before training camp this summer. And good dude.
We also had Devontae Adams on here a couple weeks ago. What was it like playing with him?
Devontae, one of my best friends. That's my guy. That's what I'm telling you. Like, when you play this game, man, like, it sucks, but, like, your value is based on how you go about your business on the field, right? So, like, you're going to meet good dudes, right, on your team, but your value is really how you compete and how you compete in practice and how you show up in games. And, like, that's how you really gravitate towards certain players on the team, and that's how me and Devontae were. And we just see the game the same, and the way we prepare and break down film and, you know, compete to want to be the best at what we're doing or whatever we're asked to do. And we ended up, you know, either he's at my house or I'm at his house every day. We watching film, hanging out, chilling. You know, obviously the best receiver in the game in my eyes, but
I agree. He's the best receiver right now.
So what's up with we done talked enough about Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay Packers. What's up with your current squad, Chicago Bears and young Caleb Williams out of USC?
So I'll start from the team aspect first. I think that, you know, we upgraded in a lot of areas this year. The defense was top 5 second half of the year. Once we had the acquisition of Montez Sweat, who's an animal and built from a different cloth. It helped that front four, and then obviously took some pressure off the DBs, and they were actually able to run around, get picks, fly around. So the defense is going to be hungry this year to repeat what they did in the second half of last year. And then obviously the offense with the addition of Keenan Allen. We got DJ Moore back. Then we got the young guy from Washington, Uduzzi. He's crazy. And then obviously Caleb Williams. I mean, I didn't know what to expect coming in. And so I didn't really have any expectations for how how composed he'd be, how he'd act. But, I mean, this guy wants to be great. You can tell what if he doesn't do something 100% correct, he's correcting himself. Like he's can make every throw a little Aaron Rodgers-esque. He's just different, man. And I'm looking forward to him going out there and competing and showing everybody what he's been working on. Because even within his first week, I mean, he's doing things that are you don't see from a young guy. And the sky's the limit for him. I mean, asks all the right questions. He's a leader, like naturally. He doesn't walk around acting like he know it all. Like I'm impressed so far.
Why would he walk around acting like he know it all with you? Shit, you damn near you could be his daddy.
I was gonna say he was 4 years old when you were drafted.
Yeah,
when you were drafted. Did you know that?
No doubt. You know what it is, though, man. You get drafted #1 overall. You just don't know what to expect. And like I said, coming in, you kind of just waiting to see. And he's been impressive with the way he carries himself and the way he leads out there at practice. It's been a joy to watch. And so it's going to come down also to everybody else around him, making sure we're doing the best we can and bringing our absolute best so that we give him the best opportunity to succeed. And we won a lot of games this year. So looking forward to that.
Well, from what I saw from training camp videos, he threw a crazy touchdown to Keenan Allen. I mean, you saw it firsthand. We have a video of it if you guys want to take a look. Oh, man. Say rolling out. Shit. Man, nah. I mean, he looks pretty ready to me.
And that throw is routine for him. Like that's
crazy to even say. That doesn't look routine at all.
He's comfortable throwing the ball like that. We literally were just talking about that the other day, and that's just one of many that he's already displayed out there at practice. And I think the good thing about him is, like I said, he wants to be great. Those type of throws are going to happen all the time. Even him being able to move out of the pocket and manipulate defenses when he scrambles. When he scrambles, he's not necessarily looking to run. He's looking to manipulate the defense so he can get the ball down the field. And, that's evident, obviously, in that picture that you just showed. But, definitely we're looking forward to, him doing some big things and excited to get the season rolling.
So you're a big UFC, what is it, UFC? Yeah, UFC fan. I'm about to say UCF, but you're a big UFC fan, and I guess I personally, it's too gory for me, man. I can't be watching dudes
I'm a fan. So
get their heads beat in like that. I went to one time and one time only, but do you see that in your future, like Greg Hardy or Herschel Walker down the line?
14 years you put, right? 14 years you've been doing MMA?
Yeah, so I've been training mixed martial arts for 14 years, and let's just say if my career was an average, like if I played 3 years and I did not play anymore, then I would definitely have tried to give it a shot. But because of my long career, I'll probably grapple. I'll probably grapple professionally. I'll grapple full time for sure when I retire from football and see where I can get to. But as far as taking hits and getting punched in the face and kicked in the legs, and I don't think
you want to have the headgear while you're training.
That's what I'm like. That's what I tell them all the time. Like, ain't nowhere in the fucking world. I look too pretty to get my face messed up. Ain't nowhere in the world. It ain't enough money in the world for me to get in the ring. I went to Johnny Morton's fight when he tried it at the Coliseum.
Yep.
And when he got hit in like, man, it was seconds.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that with
But I thought they
Royce,
killed
right?
him in the line. I thought they killed him in the ring. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, ain't nowhere in the world, man. I play football for a living, but I'm good.
You think any guys in the NFL today could be in could be in MMA or UFC, Bellator, anything?
I mean, I'm sure there are some guys that probably could attempt to do it, but
Yeah.
it's a different mindset, man. It's a different mindset, and even just training, like even when I'm just training mixed martial arts, just the workouts in general, like you go from Muay Thai to boxing to jiu-jitsu, wrestling, just the workouts. And then let's say if you spar, right? If you spar, you're mixing all of that up. And so the cardio that it takes to stand up, and then if a guy shoots for a takedown, you got to go down, and just the lactic acid that builds up over time, holding and squeezing in the muscles, and you get up and you can't hold your arms up, but you gotta, it's just a lot. We're not trained for that or built for that. And so it's just like in everything you do, if you have the mindset to do it and are willing to go through all of that, potentially, because obviously you're athletic, guys have the size in the NFL, but it's just a different mindset, man. It's hard to say.
I'm good. I play football for a living. I'm straight. I got my combat sport. I'm good.
Last question. Who is your GOAT? We had Royce Gracie on here. He's considered one of the greatest of all time in UFC. Who's your GOAT in terms of the UFC or MMA?
Oh, John Jones.
Yeah, I agree 100%. John Jones never lost. Probably won't ever lose. Just insane.
He's definitely built different. He's one of those guys that, like, when you meet him, you understand that he's built different. Like, very chill, nice guy, but he has those moments when you look into his eyes, it looks like he's looking through you. Like, he's one of those guys that, you lock him in the room with whoever, he's walking out.
And it's crazy because both of his brothers played in the NFL too. You think he could play in the NFL as well?
I think he could have did whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
most definitely.
Yeah, he could probably do whatever he want to do. But
yeah, super talented.
But you're good on the UFC, huh?
I'm out. I'm not even going to watch. I'm not even watching it. I just don't even. I get invited to go all the time. Like, no, man, I'm good, man. Just tell me who won. I can't watch it.
Do you like boxing?
I'll watch some boxing depending on where I'm at, but it's not appointment watching for me. I'm not gonna make an appointment to go watch it at all. I've been to 3 boxing matches in my entire life, and all 3 of them were in New York City when I played for the Jets. I went to see Roy Jones fight, and I went to see Roy Jones fight twice, and then I went to see Lennox Lewis fight my ex-college teammate who went from the NFL to boxing and lasted. There's a cup of coffee.
Pretty electric though. Like UFC at boxing. I went to Gervonta Davis a couple months ago. That was crazy.
I'm good watching a bunch of people beat their heads in. I watched Lennox Lewis knock Michael out. Michael Grant was his name. And he knocked him out like in the first round, man. And it was sad to see. I just can't do it. But I can thank you enough, Marcedes, for joining us on the show today. It means a lot to us. Fight on, buddy. You know what that means. That's that Trojan. Oh, yeah, I got to give it to you. I got to give it to you. The 8 clap means nothing in the household. But again, thank you for joining us on the show.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Okay, that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks again to Marcedes Lewis for joining us. And don't forget to subscribe and follow All Facts Pod on social media. Until then, it's Keyshawn and Keyshawn Jr. Peace.